Hello, YouTube. This is episode 2 of my game analysis series. I'm bringing you the second early bird of the Canadian Scrabble Classic that was held in Kingston, Ontario over the weekend of March 11th. So this is the second round of the second early bird. I'm going to show you my score sheet. If you want to look to see any spoilers, now is your time. If you want to figure out who won at the end, don't look. So yeah, this is my score sheet. I was playing Mark Pistolese or Pistolese. I really love Mark. He's a strong player. He's rated in the 1800s, and I like the way he plays. And he's also a really, really cool guy. And yeah, let's just jump into it. So, Mark opens with Beery, but not here. He opens it this way. And the reason for that, not scoring the extra 2 points, is he doesn't want to expose the double letter scores next to a vowel, next to the E. And especially given that the B has so many hooks, you can take an A over here, and it can take an A, E, I, O, and Y underneath. It's very easy to attain these double letter scores, and you're giving back probably more than 2 points extra with that placement. So good decision by Mark. A theme you'll see pretty often. I have this rack, and is that alphabetized? Yeah. Okay, good. And I didn't see this move. All right, starting off pretty well. I only saw the move of Bluey. Saw that U was like just a terrible play. Play Louis here as well. Hour might be feasible. But I think, yeah, those are the only plays to consider other than maybe an exchange, which is probably not good enough because LINE, despite being very nice, it's not nice enough to not score anything, I don't think, on your first move. But I think Boole is probably the best play. I unfortunately missed it. Just totally spaced on that word. And it's a good way of getting rid of the U. The leave of I and O is definitely better than the leave of NU. The only difference that there might be between Bluey and Boole that might make Bluey okay is it scores 2 more points. It doesn't take an S. And I guess it's a little bit more balanced. So rack balance is very important in the game of Scrabble. Keeping an N and a U, that is better balanced than keeping an N, an I, and an O because you're keeping only one vowel as opposed to 2. You normally want to keep around a 3/2 or 4/3 ratio of consonants to vowels, so something like that. And keeping 2 vowels and 1 consonant can go wrong if you even only draw two vowels out of your next 4 tiles, which is quite likely. I'm surprised of Louis doing best right now, which is it's a word I saw in my rack immediately before Mark made his opening play, thinking that might be a word that I would use next turn, depending on what he did. But I did see that it fit to the E after Beery, but I didn't think it scored enough. I didn't think it accomplished anything. And again, we have that balance issue of keeping too many vowels. But I understand why it performs well, because keeping the E better than keeping the I by a decent amount. And yeah, I'm going to be bingoing a decent amount more with Louis than with Boole or with Bluey. And you can see that in the our next turn thing here. Bingo chances after Louis are actually very similar to Boole. It's just that we're scoring a bit better. And I guess we're, yeah, defending similarly and giving a little bit less back. Okay. So these numbers make sense. And yeah, I would consider this a slight, small mistake, I would say. Finding small on Boole. Anyways, so that's not a good way to start the game off, but it's not a huge mistake. Mark had just actually played Ari Sinki in the first round and lost by a whopping 300 points. Ari just kept bingoing. So he was definitely in a state of mind here that I was hoping to take advantage of, despite being a little bit sympathetic. Like, you never want to lose by 300 points. You never want someone else really to do it. It's just it just happens from time to time. But Mark here was like, I really want to score points here, and he was like shaking his head, but he still wanted to make this play of Wintle, and I have no reason to say that this was a bad play. But I think it just illustrated his state of mind, thinking that there's potentially some bad case scenarios that could occur after Wintle. Throwing the E in the triple lane is definitely not ideal. But luckily, I unfortunately phonied here in this position, and definitely not happy about this. But I had this rack, and I saw the only 8-letter word possible through the E. I think it's the only one, and that is unsphere, and it didn't quite fit. But I also saw this word that I originally dismissed as being Collins only. But after a while, I second guessed myself. I remember learning this word. I think it was in 2015 or 2016 that I learned this word. And I have this thing in my head, and I was talking to another expert player about this, who actually is going to be featured in, I think, the 3rd episode of this new YouTube series of mine, Jackson Smiley. And we were talking about how word association, like associating a word with another word, is a really, really good way to remember words. And there are 2 words in my mind, and that was enrheum, 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 and roomy, RHEMUY, excuse me. And I knew that one of those words was valid in the North American lexicon, and the other one was only valid in CSW lexicon. And originally I was right. It was roomy that was NWL, and rooms that was Collins. But I eventually just talked myself out of it. For some reason, I didn't go with my first instinct, and if you watch the first episode, your first instinct tends to be pretty good. And I decided to play this phony here, and yeah, I got challenged off. Obviously, if there's this triple word that someone plays on you that you're not 100% sure of, you should always challenge. And Mark didn't hesitate, and play came off the board. So that's very bad. Mark then plays Gary Don, which is, I think, his only bingo. Yeah. And here I chickened out of a word after phoning, and that's a common theme, especially on blank racks. You make a mistake, you make a word mistake, and then you start talking yourself out of everything else, second guessing everything else. So I saw the word ruffins here, and I was like, ruffins, is that really good? Ruffins, tuffins, I don't know, but it's double, and I'd like to play it. And instead I didn't. Instead, I played shunner, which is just 10 points worse. So that's really bad. It's another big mistake. And so I'll say ruffins at 5D. So I'm annotating these games for crosstables.com, so people that are not watching the game on YouTube can get a little bit of commentary and see where I erred. Yeah, talk myself out of it. Knowledge saddest. There you go. And I played shunner. I think I made the second blank and N. And after a while, Mark played Medii, which he definitely wants to cover this triple somehow, and that's a great way to do it. And I draw into this rack. Oops, that's not what I drew into. I drew into this rack. And I think I had... Oh yeah, my plan was to play jar or a jar, but I felt that was going to get blocked, and indeed it did. Here, I have the option of playing Taj, I have the option of playing Jag, and I have Jura. And the thing about Jura is it's kind of dangerous because it takes an L and a T hook, but I have both of those hooks. And there is only one L left, but 4 T's. So obviously it's not ideal if Mark's able to make a play hooking Jura. But I was hoping to get away with it here and score some points and balance my rack. I can also play Jag, that leaves very well. AELRT. The problem with this play is there aren't that many bingo lanes, and also I'm setting up a really big spot for a word ending in S or a word ending in G, but more a word ending in S is going to hurt me a lot here, I would say. And I don't have an S or a G. So I'm not really sure that that's a great option. In Taj, I felt like I didn't want to block stuff here. I am down by 52. I kind of want to be a little aggressive and try and bingo again. And I could be extra aggressive here with Raj as well. I guess Gene and Jurat and Jurel are also options. But I considered Raj as well, but then I looked and saw that this was the first A that was going to be played in the game. I have a second one, but that means there are 7 A's unseen with almost half of the bag gone, and the likelihood, therefore, of Mark having an A was humongous, probably in the high 80% tier or something if I had to guess. So I felt that Raj was definitely way too on the aggressive side, whereas Jura was a nice way of being aggressive and not having terrible bad case scenarios be super likely. But yeah, I think the other options are definitely worth considering as well. I think this accomplishes what I want to accomplish in the position pretty well. And so yeah, I play Jura. I'll say questionable because I want to move on. I already know that I made a terrible mistake on the penultimate. I don't know how to say that turn, and so the rest of the turns don't matter so much if they're close. I already know that if I lose this game, it's gonna be because I phonied. So Mark plays Faye for 30, and I draw into a decently balanced rack, but I could not see any 8-letter words possible. I did see that if the A were somewhere else, I could play Glabrate. But yes, I play Bagel. I could also play Begat, but Bagel keeping the RT leave seems superior. However, there are still 4 T's to come, so I'm gonna put those there. I definitely want to be. I guess I could consider Garble too. There aren't that many E's left. That's a problem. So maybe I'll put Blag as well, just to see if it performs well. Given the dearth of E's in the pool, every E is now even more valuable than it would normally be because of how few E's remain. But bagel, I mean, we all love bagels if we can eat them. I don't know anybody that can eat bagels that doesn't like bagels. So I was happy to play this. I don't know, it might be the first time I've ever played bagel because although these 5 letters do come up a decent amount, there are other alternative plays like Gable, Gleba, and I think there's another one, Belga. There might be even more. But those also come up, and they're a little bit more playable than Bagel, I would say, just given the way that it's shaped, and no pun intended with that one. I guess when I was saying shaped, I realized there was a pun there, so maybe. Okay, so Blag J5 could be considered because lack of ease remaining, and Begat as well because of there being lots of T's unseen. Questionable. And these are all very close. I don't think Garble is right, though. Alright, so Bagel comes down. Yum yum. And after a while, Mark played Vav. And since he took a while there, I started to think that he probably had a blank. So that was pretty bad. But I think I still had to go along with my plan of trying to maximize my points and leave here and try to bingo at some point soon. Because if he does have a blank, I mean, he's going to bingo eventually too. So I guess there's the option of David here I didn't see. Daft I didn't see either. I actually only saw the play that I made of Aft, and it just seemed to accomplish what I want to do in the position. It's opening a new lane and scoring well and balancing decently. But the problem, again, with the DIRT leave, it's not as bad, it's not as good as it usually is because there aren't that many E's remaining. So it could very well be that this is going to lose the battle to one of these other plays in the simulation. And indeed, Davitt, yeah, that looks really, really good. Scores well and doesn't open anything. I mean, I guess that's a good thing. Like, if I know he has the blank, I don't really want him to to bingo on me. I did think that if he does bingo here, down here, I could still bingo back for more. But I think if I don't have to open the spot and play Davitt, the good thing about Davitt is I'm drawing into draft and drift. And I'm also drawing if I draw one of those 6 remaining A's, which is very likely. I'm setting up my F and my A here, which is a spot that's somewhat likely to stay on the board, I guess. So I think Davitt's probably the play here. Looks a bit weird, but looks very good. So Davitt looks like the play. I played aft. Now Foul comes down, and yeah, he's playing short. He's taking a while, and yeah, I'm almost certain he has a blank here. And I draw the Q, and the Q is really, really bad here. I could keep it, but I decided I needed to throw it in and maybe go for some of the good letters that remain. Actually, the pool is pretty good here, despite the lack of E's. I'm now starting to get a bit likelier to draw an E because none have been played in the last few moves. And I do want to try and draw an S. And the U's are kind of bad, and the G is kind of bad, but everything else seems pretty good. There are no V's, no W's, no F's. Those are some bad tiles. There's no Q, except it's on my rack. So I'm throwing it back in there. So I decided here that I would exchange QHRD. And the reason for that was I thought that TIN was the best 3-tile leave I could keep here. I don't really know how good of a play that is, though. So let's compare it to a few others just really quickly. Maybe, given that there are still lots of T's, also keeping the H is often something that people overlook. Yeah, but maybe keeping INR is possible, or IND. QHRT, just give that a quick simulation. To see how I performed according to the engine. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably going to take too long. But I think everything's pretty close here. It's not a good position. I'm just going to put a questionable, because I don't care enough. I used to always go through every position, but at this point, when I make a huge mistake, losing my turn, I don't analyze as hard. Sorry. I'm also trying to do these things under 25 minutes, but it's kind of hard. So Mark plays SO. Oh, whoops. Not like that. Which was kind of scary. That implies normally that he has another S, but I was pretty sure he had a blank. So if he has a blank and an S, I'm in huge, huge trouble. I was just hoping that that might be the only way he saw to score, and that he didn't have another S but did have the blank. But yeah, now that I have this rack, I felt like I was in huge trouble. Humongous trouble. Again, I'm missing plays over here of unit. That looks pretty good. Dunk I saw. Uni can't be good. And yeah, the options I considered seriously were unknit here and unknit here. And I kind of wanted to play this one because I don't know. I just felt like I needed to press the issue. Hopefully Mark didn't have any way to overlap and that I would hit first. But yeah, things are really, really looking poor here. Like if I play on knit, I'm down 48, and he bingo's likely down the C column. I can bingo down the A column, but I'll still be down like 20 points and turn. So yeah, even the best case scenario fighting against his range of letters that I thought he had, S and blank, maybe just blank, seemed pretty bad. I actually played unknit to block some bingos of his, because the AIN word takes the R hook, also takes the G hook, the M hook, the L hook, the P hook, but more importantly, the R hook. Lots of words end in R, so I felt like I would potentially be blocking a few things. But yeah, unit looks pretty good. Nothing looks great. But I didn't want to play unknit here because it blocked these minor marginal lanes that I could potentially use later. I do now have this lane, but I wanted to keep as many things open as possible. I guess I am blocking this a little bit, but yeah, I thought that I might be blocking something, but no. Mark hits me with Gaudies, and I don't redraw into a bingo, so I'm pretty much screwed at this point. I play Pooh. I guess there's something to be said about leaving everything open. I'm playing like Axion here. Because if I play Pooh, he doesn't worry about this A column anymore. I played Pooh pretty quickly. I just felt like I was losing the game. And yeah, it seemed logical, but yeah, maybe Axion is a bit better fighting spirit for me. I'm not really sure. The likelihood of winning this game is really low. So at some point you start playing for spread differential, because that is the tiebreaker we use. People have the same record. They look at how many points of spread you have, point differential, that you've accumulated through all of your games. So at some point you just want to cut that as low as possible and just resign yourself to probably losing the game. Mark plays Nye. I play Zax, and actually I missed Caddy. I played Zax like very quickly. Mark was very low on time actually at this point. That was another thing. I wanted to play quickly rather than like totally precisely. Because if there was a position where I could look a little harder and find a slightly better play, it didn't really matter to me. I really wanted to keep the time pressure on to maybe steal the game away somehow. But I noticed Caddy was available, and I was like, oh shit, maybe I should have played that first. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, nah, it's probably fine to maximize the points first, and maybe he'll try to block something over here. You play Caddy, and then you start getting into range where there might be some danger of Mark losing some points because of time and complicating the position. But sadly, well, not sadly, I was able to play Caddy. I thought he was blocking when he was putting down tech, but I was lucky. So this is my leave. Quinoa has better equity. That's really funny. I think I still have to play Caddy and keep my S and try to bingo. Yeah, and I actually have a decent shot here. I mean, it's like 1 in 10 or something. Quinoa, wow, Quinoa doing well. I don't think that makes any sense. If I play this, Mark knows that there's only one area of the board left to play in, and he's probably going to be able to deal with that pretty swiftly. I think Caddy is the play here. Yeah, because Quinoa blocks this D again. That's another theme I was talking about earlier. Mark plays EME. Where did he play that? EME here. Yeah, nice little fit there. And at this point, I thought there might be a chance that I could luck into something. Maybe he mistracks, and he lets me play a bingo. But what I did notice is the availability of the CAP, nightcap extension. So I considered, sorry, this was not my rack. I played Eat. Where did I play Eat? Eat for 13. Eat for 13. I had 2 T's, and I was considering playing Tav. So, oh yeah, I had tattoo-eye. Yeah, I remember now. I had the word tattoo-eye. Unfortunately, the S hook didn't fit anymore, as that was very upsetting. But yeah, I'm gonna run this pretty quickly. I ended up playing from which E? Man, I just don't see. Oh, here. This is what I played, which is actually kind of bad, actually. Now that I think about it, I didn't realize that this was a bingo lane. Like, I can potentially draw into something here. I didn't even consider that. That's probably not the best play. So I wanted to play off AOT, and I wanted to hit like this N, play through this N potentially, and maybe threaten something here as well. The problem is I'm emptying the bag. Maybe I could threaten something to the Y. But this is pure permutation, and I didn't really do that in this position. I just thought I needed to play as quickly as possible. I also thought maybe I could draw the C and the P, and he might try to block with a weak play, and I could play Nightcap and surprise him. That was my malicious intention here in this position, which is why I didn't play Tav, which I actually think is much better than Eat now that I'm reviewing the position. Anyways, we're gonna wait for this sim to finish. I'll get better at being more efficient and doing multiple tasks at the same time as these series go by. I'm really gonna try to keep them down to 25 minutes. But like I said in the previous episode, I would increase the speed of this video to at least 1.25. I can't really do this any faster. I would like to, but I know that people enjoy the content, but that it could get a little bit slow at times. And this isn't to say that I'm distrustful in the content that I create. I just know how it feels. So yeah, if you're not listening to this in 1.25, I salute you. I appreciate you. And yeah, there's a lot more episodes to come. Like I said, I think the next episode will be with a special guest, Jackson Smiley, who also has his own YouTube channel that I'll probably link in the comment section of the video that I will be making with him, because he's done a lot of, he called it Scrabble Under the Stairs, where he talks through a game of his that he plays on ISC, I think. Yeah, and I've sort of run out of things to say. If you're still here, I like you. You're great. I appreciate you. And I'll be working on making a lot more YouTube content. I know I say that all the time, but this is it. I have to do it. It's time. I'm so pumped to make content. This Kingston tournament, like I said in the previous episode, I was only able to play 2 of the tournaments, so the early bird tournaments and not the main event, which was sad, but I did it for a reason. As I change this to 10, hopefully I'll remember to change it to 9 at the end of the video. But I did this for a reason. I wanted to broadcast the tournament to viewers at home. I love doing this. It's basically become my occupation. But it's very hard for me to say no to playing a tournament. But there's really no one else to uphold that role. So I'm really happy that I was able to live stream the entire main event. And I don't know, we'll see if I'll be able to post those post videos of that as well. That would be pretty cool. But I imagine that they'll be posted to the Scrabble Go YouTube channel, because indeed it was held. The broadcast was held on the Scrabble Twitch channel, so they do retain the rights, I guess, to that, to rebroadcast that footage, and I do not. Anyways, it was a lot of fun. Hopefully it'll become the standard in tournaments in the future, at least medium-sized tournaments, to have a live stream section where people are employed and contracted to work to create said live streams, because we have a lot of talented people in our mixes in the Scrabble community that can either commentate, produce, do a bunch of editing, all sorts of specializations that really help make streams perform well. And yeah, I'm excited for the future. Yeah, other than that, this again is round 2 of 5 in the second early bird. I decided to look at the second early bird just for like continuity's sake. However, I might post the games in order. I don't know. I might post the games in order of like appearance, in order of like of when I played them. But I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I think this will be the second episode. I did say it's the second episode, so I guess it will be the second episode. I can't edit that out. But yeah, I think I'll be doing the third game out of 5 again with Jackson Smiley. I'm looking forward to that. he has a lot to say about analysis. And yeah, Tav indeed comes out on top because I think the draws in which... Oh, Eat also does. Okay. I think with the same draws, potentially I win. The problem is Nightcap scores 48 points, so Mark will have 438 to my 349. So there's no way I can win if I don't draw the A, the C, or the P. So yeah, I guess given the iterations, it does seem like my play was okay, but I think Tav is a lot better because I'm not risking, I don't think I'm risking defeat with any other scoring play on the board, which is pretty interesting, by the way, that the only score on the board that seems to like outrun me is Nightcap. There's no way to really score much on this board other than the extension. So yeah, I think I really should have played Tav and taken a few fewer points. I didn't think that. I mean, Mark was really low on time. I mean, I shouldn't have doubted him, but I didn't think he would ever find Nightcap if I were to draw into like a bingo from his perspective, because he was low on time. But maybe I took too long on my turn. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna end the game here because I did not draw into a bingo, and Mark indeed found Nightcap, which is a beautiful find. And he has this exact rack, and of course Nightcap has to be the best play, because if he doesn't play it here, then he's gonna get it blocked. Uh-oh. Did I miss something? Oh no. Oh, that's crazy. So the play of Rely. Okay, I'm sort of worried that I missed a word, because all of these plays are here. Did I have a bingo? Yeah, of course I did. Sudatory. Fuck. Oh my god. Anyways, of course, I realized that the bingo wouldn't win. Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. I really thought my only big mistake was this this play of Enrium's earlier, but man, these words with Y's, they're so hard. Even though it's at the end of the word, I should not have missed that. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. That's why his plays are all there. Yeah, when I see the endgame machine pointing out all the best plays in the same area of the board, I get really worried if I didn't have a play in that part of the board that I made. Oof. So he played Nightcap. I didn't play Sudatory. I drew into my bingo. So imagine if I had played Tav instead. Like maybe he misses Sudatory and I steal it. Man. See, that was why I shouldn't have played Eat. I just liked that Eat was like right next to Bagel. And that's not a good reason to make a play. Oh no. Okay, well. Yeah, it would have been really hard for him to... I guess it would have been somewhat easy, just play your C somewhere on the end column. But if he missed Sudatory as well, I could have stolen the game. Anyways, I played Dita here. Very sad. And he's supposed to play over here, but yeah, he was low on time. He played RE, was it? No, he played ARE with a few seconds on his clock. And I'm actually not even supposed to go out here. -6 to 9F miso, but I think I was also low on the clock. But yeah, that's bad. Bad game. Sad game. Definitely should have won this game. But I did not. So maybe I'll win the next one. Tune in to find out. Thanks for watching. This one was even longer than the first one. Really try to cut these videos down, but yeah, again, looking for all feedback, not just my own self-loathing feedback. And I'll see you guys on episode 3. Thank you for watching.